Welcome back to the garage, and the first in this mini series of what's going to be how to put a 5-speed gearbox in an MG Midget. I had a quick look on YouTube, see what I could find. Couldn't really find any appropriate resources, so I thought there we go, there's an opportunity. So the idea is we'll do this over a number of videos, break it all down, explore what to do, the pitfalls, my experience, how we go along, and see if we can get a 5-speed gearbox into an MG Midget. First question to ask then is, why would you want to do it? Because actually I think the gearing on a road going MG Midget is actually pretty good. Typically standard Ribcase gearbox, 3.9 differential as standard for a road car, gives you complete range, fairly good on a motorway, fairly good acceleration, nothing to really worry about. I suppose the need for upgrade itis comes when you either want to have a better highway experience, in which case you can drop the differential. That's probably the easiest and the cheapest, quickest way to do it. Drop it from a 3.9 to a 3.7, so lower the engine revs at 60, 70 miles an hour plus. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Or if you're like a spirited drive, fast road, going the other way, going from a 3.9 differential to a 4.2 differential, give you a bit more acceleration in the country lanes, bit more of a spirited drive, albeit on the highways you're going to struggle. You're going to run out of engine revs, potentially top out fourth gear once you get beyond 70, 80 miles an hour. So there's a compromise either way. So why do a 5-speed conversion in an MG Midget then? Because it's not particularly cheap. I mean, the options range anything from, in 2025 money, £1,500 up to, you know, 2,500, 3,000 you can spend to do it. So do the benefits justify the cost? Well, I suppose for a road going car or a fast road car, by putting that extra 5th gear on, you're really just buying yourself the opportunity to cruise at a higher speed on a motorway or highway. So life just gets that little bit more comfortable, makes the car a bit more drivable and enjoyable, so you haven't got a screaming engine while you're moving along. That makes sense. And then the other end, which is the racer, which I'd kind of put myself in that category with the sprint car. One of the problems I have with a standard Ribcase gearbox and a 4.2 differential, which is really the sweet spot as differentials go with a Ribcase gearbox, is that with that setup on the long circuits like Aintree, Goodwood, you are absolutely topped out at 6,500, 7,000 revs with track to go, not accelerating. So you're losing time, you're losing seconds effectively with that setup. Of course, I could just put a 3.9 differential in, but you get into that kind of place where you're swapping differentials for every race, and I can't really be bothered to do that if I'm being honest with you. So that extra 5th gear gives you that range to go a bit further. But it's even better than that, because if you've got that range at the top end of the gearbox, what it means is you've got the opportunity to change the differential down. So I can go from a 4.2 differential to a 4.55 differential. Now that's significant because it means I've got more acceleration, I've got more torque in theory when I'm going up hill climbs for the engine revs, plus I've got that, for the longer circuits, that extra gear to carry me further faster. So in a sprint car, which is doing hill climbs and big circuits, it's a win-win to some degree, and therefore justifies the cost. Plus, hell, it's a bit of an engineering project and something to do over the winter. So let's crack on. So we've covered the why. Now let's have a look at the what. There's a few different options on the market that you can go for. The Type 9 is the absolute classic conversion, of course. Type 9s over history have been fairly plentiful, so the kit car market, the conversion market, has really soaked a lot of those up to the point where they're actually starting to get harder to find now, and the prices are starting to go up. There's alternatives though now that have come about. Barrett Engineering do a nice Suzuki gearbox conversion, so there's that to figure in as well. Or you can buy a complete off-the-shelf package. Someone like Frontliner, though I'm not sure they do them anymore, but someone like Frontline, you can buy a refurbished gearbox plus all the kit in a bit of a fit and forget scenario. If you buy it all in one go with a refurbished gearbox, today's money, you're probably £2,500, £3,000. That for me is prohibitive. That's a a lot for what you're getting out of it, you know. So my challenge is to try and do it in half that. Yeah, so I'm going for about £1,500, I think. And I'm going to go down the Type 9 route rather than the Suzuki route, simply because the Type 9 is more well known. There's a lot more people working on it or have worked on it. It's easier to take apart, to change gear ratios and things like that. So spares are plentiful at the moment. So it's a more logical and well recognised conversion. So we're going to need some parts. Not worth doing anything till you've got all the parts around you. So I've managed to acquire quite a bit of that. So let's talk you through what you're going to need. So first of all, you're going to need one of these bad boys, a bell housing that converts the A series engine across to the Type 9 housing. They do the equivalent for the 1500 Midget as well. You can buy a conversion plate which converts the bell housed gearbox off a 1500 to work with a Type 9 as well. But it's this part, to be honest, that's been the bugbear, and probably the reason I've put off going down the 5-speed route for some time. And that is because these are now getting really hard to get hold of, or harder to find. So I got this one off an internet auction site as part of a kit of parts to go towards the 5-speed conversion. But also in doing some research, if you can still get them from Dave Manners, they can still supply you one. And I forget the exact price. It's somewhere between £300 and £400, I think, for one of these. But the good news is what I thought was not available is still available, and you can get them in 2025. So this one's been machined for a Midget. You've got a little bit of machining on the back here to allow for the arm for the clutch. You've got the machining on the side here for the slave cylinder fitment. And then you've got, of course, that classic profile of the A series engine for it to match up with the starter in its standard position. So a standard kit comes with a number of other components you're going to need in order to do the conversion. So you do have to chop away some of the floor. You have to chop through the cross member and then slide these steel tubes in and weld them in order to strengthen up the cross section of the chassis on the MG Midget. And then this plate, which, yeah, you could make that up out of some steel box or something like that, I guess, but this plate then bolts through into these, and then you've got the mounting holes in the centre for the Type 9 rear housing mounting there. So that all goes underneath the car. I've got a box of bolts and nuts and fixings here. Another few key components. So we've got the clutch arm bracket, so that sits inside the housing here to take the standard clutch arm. We've got a modified release bearing set up here with a roller bearing already fitted on there, so I'll take the opportunity to change the roller bearing I've already got. And this is quite a key component because this is going to sit in the engine as the spigot for the gearbox, and obviously that sits within the flywheel as well. So this is something that you could get machined up quite easily, I guess, but if you can find one off the shelf, it does make life a little bit easier. When it's all fitted, you're going to need a prop shaft, so that'll have the MG Midget back end, the Ford front end, and then cut to the appropriate length, so you're going to need to procure one of those. And most of these parts you can buy online individually or as part of a kit. If you look around, it's still available. The big question though is clutch. You have to make a decision on the clutch. You can either stick with the standard MG Midget one or use it as an opportunity to upgrade to a 7.5 inch clutch. So given what my clutch goes through with a lot of standing starts, decided to take the plunge and go for the upgrade, hopefully get a little bit less clutch spin on the start line. So that needs some flywheel modifications. So I've managed to get this flywheel. It's been lightened, obviously. You can see that it's been cut out, so that'll suit the motorsport purpose that I want it for. You don't have to do that, but that's obviously something you can do. But this one has been machined with the mounting holes and pins in order to suit a 7.5 inch clutch. So here we've got that clutch. So as you can see, that fits pretty damn perfectly up to the slots, and then the 7.5-inch clutch housing mounts over the top of that. So that's what's going to be mounted up to the A series, and then you've got the spline here designed to fit the Type 9 gearbox. Only other part I've got here is the speedo cable, so not quite sure how or what that fits yet, but there's a circlip there to mount in that end to the gearbox. I've got a cable exit from the gearbox that I've procured, so that should work for there. The only question mark I've got is whether that will actually fit the MG Midget speedo or not, so time will tell on that one to make sure that that fits appropriately. So that's the kit of parts. The only other thing we need then is a gearbox. So as I said, gearbox is starting to become a little bit harder to find. You used to be able to pick one up for £50 on an auction site a few years ago. That's not the case now. You know, they tend to start at about £350 in 2025. A lot going for 600. To buy something that's already been refurbished, kind of £800–900 plus. So you take your option whether you want to do a bit of work, take a punt, or whether you want to buy something fully finished. So this is one I've picked up online. Picked this up for about £300 as a bit of an unknown entity. It was marked up as coming out of a 1.6, 1.8, 2-litre Sierra, so that's the model that we should be looking for. Have I actually got that? I'm not quite so sure. So in the next episode we're going to pull this down, start to have a look inside it, and really kind of understand what I have actually got here, and if it's going to be fit for purpose or not. But to start with, we've got a gearbox. Key things then to look for on a gearbox: ideally 1.6, 1.8, 2-litre from the research that I've done. Obviously a 5-speed. You can have options, so some of the things that people do to them, you can shorten the housing at the back to make sure the gear lever's in the original position on the MG Midget. Not something I'm going to go after, but you can be done. And a desirable upgrade is a longer first gear. The original first gear quite low for a conversion, so that's something we're going to have a look at as well. Plenty to go at then in the garage. So going to have a look at the gearbox first. We'll do a quick video on that, and then we'll get the car in, get the engine out, and start to see what's involved with all of that. But to start with, we'll leave it there. I think we've got all the parts, we're ready to go. So let's have a look at this gearbox in the next episode. See you then.